So, what do you do when you feel like God is not close to you? Like he's not answering your prayers, like he's not nearby, and what do you do? Think on that for a second. I was in a conversation not long ago, and the person I was talking to made that statement. I don't feel like God's close to me. I'm not feeling like he's hearing me. And it's not like I ever want to come in and condescend to somebody and say, well, let me tell you what scripture says, and this is why you shouldn't. That's a big S bomb on somebody. You shouldn't feel this way. If you feel that way, you feel that way. But just because we feel it doesn't mean we have to live subject to those feelings. What I do when I feel those things, this is what I shared with my friend, was I remind myself of God's character. I remind myself of the promises that God has given to me in his word. And it's incredibly helpful to me to be able to take a moment to step back from the situation, to acknowledge that usually it's because I'm in a circumstance that's beyond my control. Things are stirred up where I feel afraid. Maybe my anxiety is going crazy and experiencing unpleasant emotions, but they're still present emotions. And immediately the thought that will come is, oh, God's far away. He's not hearing. There's nothing I can do. And what I usually will do is remind myself of the promises of God, and I will either literally go to the Bible and read it, or I will look in my notebook where I've written some things down on, like in Joshua chapter 1, when God's talking to Joshua right after Moses, the leader of Israel, has died. And God tells Joshua, don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. Be strong and courageous, because I am with you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Throughout the Psalms, David, as he's interacting with God, God reveals himself as the God who is present with us. Matter of fact, in one of the primary points of designation of who Jesus is when the angel Gabriel told Mary and Joseph, you're going to have a kid. He said to them, you're going to have Emmanuel, which is a word that means God with us. And that's a promise that we can take with us wherever we go, that no matter what we feel like, no matter what circumstance we're in, no matter what kind of topsy-turvy experience we're having with our emotions, God is with us, and he is never going to leave us and never forsake us. In our series that we've been going through on Jesus Christ the same, one of the things we can be sure of is he is the same when it comes to him saying he's never going to leave us or forsake us. And so I would invite you, number one, let me know, what do you do when you are feeling these feelings? God's far away. Number two, I want you to rehearse with me, God is never going to leave me and he's never going to forsake me. That does not mean I will not go through unpleasant things. This is where a lot of people get messed up in their head and in their experience, because they think if God's really with me, I will be rescued from the circumstance. And I'm all for being rescued from it, but I also recognize that even when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because you, Lord, are with me. We will go through the same experiences other people, human beings walking on this planet, get to experience. But the difference from people who don't know him and the people who do is that God is with us always. And our faith is made for times, especially when everything is shaken, because that's when God shows himself to be our rock, our fortress, our redeemer, our protector. Be thinking about that. He's with you. If you feel like he's not near, you feel like he's not hearing you, you may want to close your eyes and pray. You don't have to. I like to keep mine open most of the time, but I'll pray and say something to the effect of, Lord, I just thank you for your promise that says you are with me and you're never going to leave me. I thank you that you love me and you care for me and you're working on my behalf to bring about your promises and your blessings in my life. And even when I can't see how it's going to work out, I will trust you. Thank you for being with me. We're going to be talking about this some more on Sunday. I'm excited. Hope you are too. God bless you. Have a great rest of your week.